Silver Hollow was a town steeped in shadows. The whispers started with the wind rustling through the trees. Then they seemed to seep from the very stones of the buildings. Generations had passed down the stories. They spoke of the Well of Whispers, an ancient pit on the edge of town. It lay hidden deep within the woods. The well was a place of fear. It was a place of superstition. Legend told of a malevolent spirit trapped within its depths. They called it the Watcher. The Watcher waited. It watched those who dared to approach. It was said that anyone who gazed into the well invited the spirit into their lives. Most steered clear. They heeded the warnings whispered through the generations. The townsfolk avoided the well. They left it to its silent vigil. They knew the stories were true. They had seen the evidence. Those who scoffed at the tales often met with unfortunate ends. Some disappeared without a trace. Others were driven to madness, their sanity shattered beyond repair. Fear was a powerful force in Silver Hollow. It hung over the town like a shroud. The well remained a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. It was a darkness that no one dared to confront. Claire was a journalist with a thirst for the truth. She sought out stories that sent shivers down the spines of others. She was drawn to the unexplained, the mysteries that lay hidden in the shadows. When she heard the whispers of Silver Hollow and its cursed well, she knew she had found a story worth telling. She scoffed at superstition. She dismissed local legends as mere folklore. Armed with her wit, her camera, and a healthy dose of skepticism, she set out to debunk the myth of the Watcher. Claire arrived in Silver Hollow on a day cloaked in grey. The town was as unwelcoming as the overcast sky. She could feel the weight of eyes upon her as she stepped out of her car. The townsfolk regarded her with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. They had seen her kind before. They knew that her skepticism would only lead to trouble. Undeterred, Claire made her way to the local library. She delved into the archives, searching for any mention of the well. She found newspaper clippings detailing strange occurrences, missing person reports, and even accounts of madness. The stories were disturbing, but Claire remained unconvinced. She saw them as the product of overactive imaginations and a shared delusion. As evening approached, Claire prepared herself for her visit to the Well of Whispers. She packed her backpack with her camera, a flashlight, and a notebook. She was determined to expose the truth behind the legend. She would prove to the world that the Watcher was nothing more than a figment of their collective imagination. Little did she know the truth was far more terrifying than she could have ever imagined. The path to the well was shrouded in an unnatural mist. It was as if the forest itself was trying to deter her. The air grew heavy with the scent of damp earth and decay. The setting sun cast long, eerie shadows through the trees. Claire pressed onward, her flashlight cutting a narrow beam through the gloom. The silence was unnerving. The only sounds were the crunch of leaves beneath her feet and the distant caw of a crow. Claire could feel her heart pounding in her chest. She tried to rationalize her fear. It was just the darkness, she told herself, just the isolation playing tricks on her mind. As she drew closer to the well, the temperature seemed to drop. A cold, clammy hand closed around her heart. Claire paused, her breath catching in her throat. She could sense that she was no longer alone. She could feel eyes upon her, watching her every move. Taking a deep breath, Claire steeled her nerves and continued forward. The trees thinned, revealing a small clearing. In the center stood the well, its stone rim slick with moss and thyme. It was a menacing silhouette against the dying light. The well seemed to pulsate with an unseen energy. Claire approached cautiously, her hand trembling slightly as she raised her camera. She took a deep breath and peered into the darkness. At that moment, the wind picked up, swirling the mist around her like a shroud. The well was deeper than she imagined. It swallowed the light from her flashlight, offering nothing but an abyss in return. Just when she was about to turn away, she saw it, a pair of eyes gleaming from the depths. They were not the eyes of any creature she had ever seen. They were cold, malevolent, and filled with an ancient hunger. Claire gasped, stumbling back in horror. Her finger instinctively pressed down on the camera shutter, capturing the image of the eyes before they vanished back into the darkness. She stared at the well in disbelief, her mind struggling to comprehend what she had just witnessed. The eyes were a sickly yellow, like those of a predator caught in the glare of headlights. They seemed to pierce through her, seeing into her very soul. Claire felt a chill run down her spine, as if an icy finger had traced its way down her back. Fear, raw and primal, surged through her. She wanted to run to escape the clearing and never look back, but her feet felt rooted to the spot, as if an unseen force held her captive. She was frozen in place, paralyzed by the sheer terror that emanated from the well. For a moment there was silence. The wind died down, and the mist settled around her like a suffocating blanket. Then she heard it. A low growl, guttural and filled with malice, seemed to rise from the depths of the well. It sent shivers down her spine. Section 5. Echoes in the silence. The growl echoed through the clearing, bouncing off the trees and seeping into her bones. Claire stumbled back from the well, her heart pounding in her chest. She wanted to run, to flee from this cursed place, but she couldn't bring herself to turn her back on the well. It was as if she was tethered to it, drawn to its darkness by an unseen force. The growl faded into an unsettling silence. The forest held its breath, every creature within it, seemingly aware of the presence that had made itself known. Claire stood there for a moment, trying to calm her racing heart and rationalize what she had heard. It was just an animal, she told herself, a large predator, perhaps a bear or a wildcat. But deep down she knew that what she had heard was something far more ancient and sinister. It was a sound that spoke of darkness and despair, a sound that chilled her to the core. As she stood there trying to collect herself, she noticed something strange. A faint dripping sound, slow and rhythmic, seemed to be coming from the bottom of the well. It was the sound of water, but there was something off about it. It was too thick, too viscous, like blood oozing from a wound. Claire took a tentative step closer to the well, her hand instinctively reaching for her flashlight. She shone the beam down into the darkness, but it was swallowed by the abyss, offering no explanation for the eerie, dripping sound. The sound seemed to grow louder now, echoing up from the depths and wrapping around her like a cold, wet shroud. Section 6. The drenched handprint. Claire's breath caught in her throat as she noticed something else. A handprint, large and drenched, marred the edge of the well. It was as if something had reached up from the darkness, its grip slick with an unknown liquid. The handprint was too large to be human. The fingers were long and slender, ending in points that seemed to scrape against the stone. Nausea welled up in Claire's stomach as she stared at the handprint. It was a chilling reminder that she was not alone, that something was watching her from the depths of the well. She could feel its presence now, cold and predatory, lurking just beyond the reach of her flashlight's beam. Panic surged through her, threatening to overwhelm her. She had to get out of there, to put as much distance between herself and the well as possible. But as she turned to leave, she heard it again. The low growl, closer this time, seemed to vibrate through the very air around her. It was a sound that spoke of hunger and malice, a sound that sent shivers down her spine. Claire broke into a run, her flashlight bouncing wildly in her hand as she fled from the clearing. The trees seemed to reach out for her, their branches like skeletal fingers trying to claw at her as she passed. The dripping sound followed her, echoing through the forest, a constant reminder of the horror she had witnessed. Claire didn't stop running until she reached her car, her lungs burning and her legs screaming for respite. As she fumbled with her keys, she could have sworn she saw a figure standing at the edge of the trees, its eyes gleaming from the darkness. Section 7 vanished without a trace. The next morning, Claire was gone. Her motel room was empty, the bed was untouched. The only sign that she had ever been there was a lingering scent of wood smoke and damp earth. The townsfolk searched for her, but their efforts were in vain. Claire had vanished without a trace, swallowed by the same mystery that had claimed so many before her. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through Silver Hollow. Some whispered that she had finally gotten what she deserved, that her skepticism had led to her demise. Others believed that she had simply gotten too close to the truth and had paid the ultimate price. The police investigated, of course, but their inquiries led nowhere. They found no signs of foul play, no indication of where Claire might have gone. Her disappearance remained an unsolved mystery, adding another layer of darkness to the already grim legend of the Well of Whispers. Some say that on quiet nights, when the wind whispers through the trees, you can still hear Claire's voice calling out from the well. They say that she's trapped there now, her soul claimed by the Watcher, a chilling reminder to those who dare to tempt fate and seek out the truth behind the legends. The truth, it seemed, was a dangerous thing to possess in Silver Hollow. It had a way of vanishing, taking those who sought it along with it. And so the legend of the Well of Whispers lived on, a chilling tale whispered from generation to generation, a warning to those who dared to question the darkness that lurked at the edge of town. Section 8. The Journal's Warning. Weeks later, a package arrived at the local newspaper office. It was addressed to the editor in shaky handwriting. Inside, they found Claire's journal, its pages filled with frantic scribbles and chilling sketches. The journal detailed her descent into terror, her encounters with the unseen. and her growing belief in the legend she had initially dismissed. Her writing was erratic, as if penned in a state of growing panic. The sketches were even more disturbing. They depicted grotesque figures with elongated limbs and eyes that burned with an unnatural light. The figures seemed to writhe on the page, their forms shifting and distorting as if struggling to break free. One entry, dated the night of her disappearance, stood out from the rest. It was written in a shaky hand, the ink smudged as if tears had fallen upon the page. "It's here," it read. "I can feel it watching me. The eyes, they're everywhere. I shouldn't have looked. I shouldn't have doubted." The final page contained only a single sentence scrawled across the paper with such force that it tore through the page. "Don't trust the water," it warned. "It's not what it seems." The words hung in the air, a chilling testament to Claire's final moments and a cryptic warning to those who dared to follow in her footsteps. The journal's discovery sent a fresh wave of fear through Silver Hollow. It was a tangible reminder of the darkness that lurked at the edge of town, a darkness that had claimed one of their own. The journal was placed in the town's archives, a chilling artifact displayed alongside other relics of the town's haunted past. Section 9. An unsettled farewell. The well remained, a silent sentinel at the edge of town. A chilling reminder of the secrets it held and the price of curiosity. The townsfolk continued to whisper the legend of the Watcher, their voices hushed, their eyes darting nervously towards the tree line. Life in Silver Hollow went on, but it was forever changed. The shadow of the well loomed large, a constant reminder of the unseen forces that shaped their lives. The townsfolk learned to coexist with the fear, to accept that some mysteries were best left unsolved. As for Claire, she was never seen again. Her fate remained a mystery, a chilling tale whispered around campfires and late-night gatherings. Some said that she had been taken by the Watcher, her soul claimed as a trophy. Others believed that she was still out there, lost in the woods, forever tethered to the well that had consumed her. But one thing was certain. Claire's disappearance served as a chilling reminder that some truths were too terrible to uncover, some mysteries too profound to comprehend. And in the sleepy town of Silver Hollow, where shadows danced at the edge of the woods and whispers carried on the wind, the legend of the Watcher lived on, a testament to the enduring power of fear and the darkness that lay hidden beneath the surface of even the most ordinary lives.